Coach Hunt, thank you for taking time with us at Off the Block blog. Thrilling, maybe stressful, come from behind victory. What are your impressions of the match?
Yeah, it was good to win in five versus losing in five, right? So it's better to win ugly than lose ugly. That's for sure. Um, and we're learning to grind it out. I think our best volleyball is yet to come. Talk to the guys about that. We still can play a lot better, a lot cleaner, but we're finding ways to win. So that's really important. We're building a little bit of grit and determination along the way. So that's good.
The two terms that I see with your team are depth, but also inconsistency. How do you become a more consistent team?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're talking about that all the time. Good thing is we got a pretty good head coach that we can all trust and sort of follow suit and say, what do we do? And I think part of that's getting healthy. And then part of that is getting some young court guys some experience. And luckily we have some guys that played last year that can come in and spell some guys that are newer. And yeah, depth is something that's a little bit different here, but it's fun.
Are you relying on your seniors to be bigger leaders like Josh and Max and Mitchell?
Yeah, I think we're relying on guys that have been out there before, you know, whether they're seniors or whether they're just veterans, right? Like the reality is, if you've played out there, we're relying on you to give a little bit. And the reality is, that everybody that comes into our gym at some point, we're asking them to lead in their own way, you know. So from day one, they got to figure out how to be a leader. So that's sort of our mindset and our philosophy.
Let's go back into this set. You lost the first set. USC kind of took control from the service line, especially with Andy Benesh serving. What was the struggle with getting out of that rotation and him off the service line?
Yeah, Andy's a really, really good server. He's upgraded his serve over his 4 years. I think he started with a float serve, then he went to this hybrid serve, and now he's just got a traditional jump spin. And he's serving the ball really well. We knew that coming in, that they score a lot of points in that rotation. And luckily we were able to receive serve. You know, we were passing his serve okay. It just had trouble signing out, whether it was a hitting error here or mishandled play, or they were playing well on defense. You know, sometimes it's a little bit of us, but then it's our opponent as well. They dug a lot of balls. They outdug us by a fair amount. So they were playing well. So game one, they made some good plays. They had chances, and they turned a few more good plays than us.
What was the message to the team between the first and second match, and how did you, or second set, sorry,
Yeah,
and how did you guys make that adjustment?
I think everyone could have agreed we could have played better. So I think it was just some adjustments. It wasn't too many adjustments with what they were doing, but more so what we were doing.
You go down 2 sets to 1 after the 3 sets. What was the message at that point?
Just keep playing good volleyball. We had started to play better volleyball. So just keep playing good volleyball. And we've, good or bad, we've been in that position before this year. So, yeah, it wasn't a unfamiliar thing, and we needed to keep doing things a little bit better on our side.
You You guys played 11 players today. Which of the players that came off the bench really stood out to you?
You know what? They all did some nice things at one point or another, so that was a positive sign. When they went in, they were prepared to make the changes that we needed to make. Sometimes it was just to spell a guy for a little bit. Other times it was, we need an upgrade, let's go. But they were all prepared, so that was huge by all those guys. That's a really tough position to be in, to not know when your time is and be ready when your time is, and then go out and have to perform. So, Noah came back, and this was his first match in a while, so he did a great job. So that stood out to us. He probably, being the guy that stayed in there the longest, was probably the one that stands out to me the most.
Obviously use Max as a serving specialist or serving sub. You brought him in, I believe, when you only after the third point in the fifth set.
Yeah.
Whose decision was that on the coaching staff, and why did you bring him so early in the set?
Yeah, I mean, Mark's decision, of course. And I think, to be honest, I was over there saying, no, what are we doing? We got to wait. And he's a server that he can change the game from the service line or really have a huge impact from the service line. So I think it was a great idea to get him in there as early as possible. We had talked before the set about even starting him from the service line and then subbing somebody back in. That's a tactic that our technical coordinator with USA Volleyball, I think, has studied a little bit, Joe Trinzi, and he had thrown that out, and that was one of our contingent plans at the Olympics. So we've sort of borrowed that, and we would do that if we felt comfortable in that scenario. So we had talked about that. So I think we wanted to get him to the service line and make sure that he was serving at a critical time for us. He ended up scoring a point, maybe 2 points, and I thought we were able to maintain that cushion all the way through.
The two players that really stood out to you today were to me from your team were Wyzorek and Wexter. Can you comment on their performances?
Yeah, I mean they attacked the ball great. Dave passed the ball extremely well. He's working hard every day on all the little things. Everyone knows he's a really good player, and he's trying really hard every day to just keep improving his game, which is, I mean, to be a player at his level and continue to try to fine-tune his game like he is, that's tremendous props to him, right? And Wexer is a great athlete that's learning how to be a really good hitter, and he's shown signs against some of the best teams in the country that he can do that. And he's another guy that there's no coincidence. He comes in every day and trying to fine-tune every little detail. So it's awesome to see that you can't help but pull for guys like that, guys that are really trying to improve their all-around game.
Let's talk about your preparation for this game, in terms of how you prepared for your opponent. Yoder didn't play today, so and you probably didn't have that much time or that much notice to know that he was not going to play. So how did you prepare for that? And also, one of USC's better players today was Grasso, the junior college transfer, and you really didn't have that much footage on him, I presume, other than the Stanford match. So how did you prepare for SC, knowing that you would face Grasso and most likely not face Yoder?
Yeah, so it was a little bit, usually at this point in the season we're getting lots of information and we know these teams. So we knew what the team would look like with Lucas out there. He's a great player, maybe one of the best outsides in the country. I mean, if not the best outside in the country in terms of all-around play. And he's real impressive. So when they didn't have him out there, that was a little bit of a shock. We didn't know why. So we still had to prep our staff for him being ready. And then it was, we had to then take all this information we had and then decide what we were going to give to our players. So it was a little bit of a Belichickian way, if you think about it. And then we would give our guys little bits and pieces as we go. So they played lots of guys against Stanford. They played lots of guys along the way. So we had a general scouting report that was pretty simplistic, and then lots of contingents written down in our notebooks about if this guy goes in, here's how we'll block this, or we'll do these in these different situations. So a lot of that, playing for us on whatever day it was on Wednesday, we spent a lot of time really focusing on what we just needed to do to play better volleyball.
Obviously, you you take 1 week at a time or one match at a time, so you obviously have not looked at mature game footage on your next opponent, but your next opponent is Long Beach State. Okay. You're pretty familiar with their three sophomore players, Tuaniga, Nsing, and TJ. What is the key to stopping them next week?
You know what? I haven't watched a lick of film on them. The only time I've seen them is they played SC a few weeks ago, so I saw them sort of like as a byproduct. But I don't know. I'll let you know next Wednesday.
Can you take anything away from that match? It just seems like that's not the Long Beach State team that most of us have come to expect coming into the season.
You know what? Yeah, I can't take too much from them. As you're watching it, you just see sort of that they were attacking, SC a certain way. They're obviously going to be tactically good at whatever they're trying to do. So, but I can't really take too much away from that.
And let me ask you a selfish question. Next week, breaking news: I'm going to go to Provo, Utah, to cover the UCLA BYU match, the second one of them. You've been to Provo a couple of times. Where should I go?
Yeah, that's first of all, that's good news because Vinny's putting up some money, or he's got a GoFundMe or something for you. So, yeah, that's good news that you're getting to do that. We always go to the Brick Oven because it's inexpensive, and I think it's all you can eat. So we could sit there for a few hours and just eat pizza for a ton of nights. And we split with them up there last year, so maybe it worked. So maybe you should go up there. Yeah, there's not too many other places really that we go. There's a sandwich shop downtown Provo, but I don't know, Sensuous Sandwich or something. So maybe I can get some kickbacks from them for mentioning their names.
Well, thank you for taking time with us off the Block blog, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thanks.